Before I start this video proper, I just want to give a big thank you to all those who subscribed to me. This was a goal I've been hoping we'd hit for a while, and really, this video is sort of a reward for y'all for sticking around even if my upload schedule is a dismembered mess, evident by the fact that I have exceeded 50 subscribers even before starting to record this video. With that out of the way, thank you for subscribing to me, and let's chase after 100.
This is undoubtedly one of the toughest announcements that I've ever personally had to make. But after the accident and turn 4 at the end of the Daytona 500, we've lost Dale Earnhardt.
All the ways to enter the NASCAR Cup Series, no one should ever have to do it like this. Being the person to drive the car once driven by one of the greatest drivers of all time is one thing, but having to do it because said driver died is another thing entirely. A normal person would crumble under the pressure. After all, an unforgettable racing legend died in a crash a week prior, and now you're expected to perform on his caliber. You'd break under that pressure, guaranteed. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't blame you. Who wouldn't break having to replace Dale Earnhardt with those kinds of expectations on their back? Well, I know someone, and his name is Kevin Harvick. Harvick didn't break. He knew what he had to do. He knew what Dale Earnhardt would have wanted him to do. In Harvick's own words, there's only one Intimidator, and he couldn't be expected to operate like him. But that didn't stop him from aiding the fans in the beginning of finding the closure they so desperately needed.
Here he comes. He's going to drive it to the bottom.
Oh, Harvick's leaving a lot of bottom on him.
The slow car is going to be in the way.
Just like a year ago, he's going to get him, though.
Here
He's
they
going to
come.
get him. Gordon got loose in. Harvick by inches. Harvick by inches.
In just his third ever start in the renumbered 29, Kevin Harvick beat Dale Earnhardt's old rival Jeff Gordon to the line in a barn burner for the ages. He would ultimately end the 2001 season with 2 wins, 6 top 5s, 16 top 10s, only 1 DNF, and an average finish of 14.1. He finished 9th in the points, which was good enough for him to become the Rookie of the Year, beating out a number of drivers for the award, most notably Ron Hornaday Jr. and Kurt Busch. 2002 was not as kind to Harvick as 2001 was, however, as he only got 1 win, 5 top 5s, 8 top 10s, 6 DNFs, and an average finish of 22.0. He finished 21st in points that year, a severe downturn from the 9th in 2001. However, he did get his first pole position that year at Daytona, so at least that's a decent step up for car number 29. In hindsight, 2003 was likely the breakout year for Harvick. Though he only got 1 win, it was at the motorsports capital of the world, the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And he got the pole there too, his only one of the season. Alongside that, he handily exceeded 2001 stats with 11 top 5s, 18 top 10s, no DNFs, and an average finish of 12.3 and a whopping 5th place points finish. 2004 was the dawn of the modern playoffs, and Kevin Harvick didn't make the cut. No wins, 5 top 5s, 14 top 10s, no poles, 4 DNFs, and an average finish of 16.3 gave him a mere 14th place points finish, falling short of the 10 that would have a run in the playoffs. 2005 would produce similar results, with 1 win, 3 top 5s, 10 top 10s, 2 poles, 1 DNF, and an average finish of 17.4 would net Harvick his second consecutive 14th place points finish. At this point, Harvick actually threatened to leave if his team didn't up their game. Fortunately, they did, and Harvick went back to form in 2006 with 5 wins, 15 top 5s, 20 top 10s, a pole, 1 DNF, and an average finish of 12.3. He would finish 4th in the standings, proving once again that the 29 is a title contender. But at the end of the season, GM Goodwrench would drop back to just being an associate sponsor, and Shell Oil Company and Pennzoil became the new primary sponsors. Undeterred and sporting a bright yellow and red paint scheme, Kevin Harvick would open the 2007 season with the greatest win of them all.
It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. No caution. They're side by side, right to the line. Big crash. Here they come. Checkered flag. Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500.
We were also introduced to Clint Bowyer in this race, but we'll talk about him another time. The Daytona 500 will be Harvick's only win in the 2007 season, as he racked up 4 top 5s, 15 top 10s, no poles, no DNFs, and an average finish of 15.5 to lock up a 10th place points finish. As is the formula for an up and down career like this, the 29 would once again claw up to 4th in the points in 2008, despite not getting any wins, with 7 top 5s, 19 top 10s, no poles, no DNFs, and an average finish of 12.4. And this was the year that the controversial Car of Tomorrow debuted, so seeing the 29 finish 14th again, and 10th in 3 of the previous 4 seasons of the old car, before suddenly climbing to 4th in the COT, was almost certainly something NASCAR caught wind of. However, 2008 was not without loss for car number 29, as the brand that had sponsored the car for decades, GM Goodwrench, left NASCAR entirely. And then 2009 happened, where Harvick got no wins, 5 top 5s, 9 top 10s, no poles, 2 DNFs, an average finish of 20.9, and a points finish of 19th. His lowest since 2002. People expected that yet after another massive dip in performance, Harvick would finally leave RCR. But as we know, he would stay with the team for a little longer past this point. And once again, Harvick proved the 29's naysayers wrong. As in 2010, he would score 3 wins, 16 top 5s, 26 top 10s, no poles, 1 DNF, and an average finish of 8.7. This would net him a 3rd place points finish, which he would repeat in 2011, albeit obviously with different stats, getting 4 wins, 9 top 5s, 19 top 10s, no poles, 1 DNF, and an average finish of 11.5. Finally, Harvick gets some consistently good points finishes. However, Harvick lost yet another primary sponsor, with Shell and Pennzoil departing the team to sponsor the 22 of Kurt Busch. So how does 2012 hold up for Harvick? Well, he wasn't able to replicate his top 3 points finishes of 2010 and 2011, but it's still a respectable 8th place points finish, with 1 win, 5 top 5s, 14 top 10s, no poles, 2 DNFs, and an average finish of 12.1. This would ultimately be the final year of the Car of Tomorrow, as the 6th generation of stock car was revealed. 2013 was Kevin Harvick's third place points finish in 4 years, with 4 wins, 9 top 5s, 21 top 10s, a pole, 2 DNFs, and an average finish of 11.2. As with the dawn of the Car of Tomorrow, once again, the car that was once the greatest machinery in the 90s was back in contention for a championship with the next model. However, it was ultimately not meant to be. After so many highs and several lows, Kevin Harvick finally parted ways with Richard Childress Racing in the 29 car at the end of the 2013 season, and Harvick was marching in unknown territory going into 2014. A 13-year stint that gave the sport closure and the ability to press forward had finally come to an end. While Richard Childress would renumber the 29 back to the 3 for his grandson Austin Dillon to make his Cup Series debut, Kevin Harvick would move on, seeking another opportunity elsewhere that had opened up for him. "2014 was a big year for Kevin Harvick. For the first time in his career, he has a brand new start. Having left RCR at season's end in 2013, Harvick landed at Stewart-Haas Racing, driving their number 4 car for the remainder of his career, with one exception we'll get to later. On top of that, the playoff format was completely reworked from the ground up, prioritizing winning above everything. We'll get into that in a later video. So how did Harvick do in his first year with a new team?
He's going to do it. He's going to win the race and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship. California's Kevin Harvick does it.
Well, that happened. In a crazy debut for both Harvick's new team as well as the new playoff format, he would take the bull by the horns and emerge victorious, with 5 wins, 14 top 5s, 20 top 10s, 8 poles, 2 DNFs, and an average finish of 12.9. The final race at Homestead Miami Speedway resulted in the true magnum opus of Kevin Harvick's NASCAR Cup Series career. For the only time in his career, he would lift the championship trophy at season's end. In 2015, he came just one spot short of defending his title in what I still consider to be the greatest championship battle of the current playoff format. Everyone deserved the title in 2015, and that's irrefutable. 3 wins, 23 top 5s, 28 top 10s, a pole, 1 DNF, and an average finish of 8.7. Barring the win total, this is championship caliber in any era. Also, between 2015 and 2016, Harvick experienced yet another sponsor change. But he didn't lose a sponsor this time. One of his sponsors changed their branding, going from Budweiser to Busch. Yes, there is a beer brand called Busch, and it has never sponsored either of the Busch brothers. Missed opportunity, I am painfully aware of that. But while Harvick was able to imitate his 2015 stats in 2016, 4 wins, 17 top 5s, 27 top 10s, 2 poles, 3 DNFs, and an average finish of 9.9, he was ultimately relegated to an 8th place points finish, eliminated in the penultimate round. But he would be back with a vengeance starting in 2017. 2 wins, 14 top 5s, 23 top 10s, 4 poles, 4 DNFs, and an average finish of 11.1. Respectable. And he made it all the way into the Final Four with a 3rd place points finish. 2018 would yield yet another stats explosion, with 8 wins, including another Brickyard 400, 23 top 5s, 29 top 10s, 4 poles, 4 DNFs, an average finish of 8.8, and another 3rd place points finish. In 2019, Harvick scored 4 wins, including his 3rd Brickyard 400 and 2nd in a row, 15 top 5s, 26 top 10s, 6 poles, 3 DNFs, and an average finish of 10th even for his 3rd straight 3rd place points finish. After 3 straight Championship 4 appearances, Kevin Harvick was fully ready to take on 2020 and everything it had to offer. Just 4 races into the 2020 season, all social events were halted outright with the dawn of COVID-19, and NASCAR was no exception. They still gave a valiant and ultimately successful effort in keeping their fans entertained by hosting iRacing in what would have been the usual race time slots. And all things considered, it worked out, with the exception of Kyle Larson dropping a verbal bomb that ultimately got him suspended. He came back and won 10 races and the title in 2021, but that's neither here nor there. This is a Harvick video. Once people started to realize it was safe to leave their bedrooms again, NASCAR became the first nationwide sport to be able to get back into competition. But with so much of the year spent quarantining, they had to do some serious catching up, which resulted in a breakneck season filled with doubleheaders and midweek races. Kevin Harvick handily dominated even in these extremely strange circumstances, with 9 wins, 20 top 5s, 27 top 10s, no poles, no DNFs, and an average finish of 7.3. Unfortunately, he fell 1 position short of making it to the Championship 4 with a failed final turn pass on Kyle Busch at Martinsville. Harvick's failed pass at Martinsville would ultimately serve as the starting point for the downfall of not just Kevin Harvick, but Stewart-Haas Racing as a whole. In 2021, SHR as a team only got 1 win, and it didn't even come from Kevin Harvick, it came from Aric Almirola. At New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Almirola started 22nd and happened to be in 1st when the sun was setting, while Harvick started 12th and finished 6th. Harvick himself would ultimately go winless in 2021 for the first time in his Cup Series career since 2009. Well, that's an embarrassing way to end your final year in the Gen 6 car. Let's see what a new car will do for the number 4 team. Originally meant to debut in 2021, the next-gen car proved to be a massive success despite Joey Logano winning the championship.
What the fuck?
Everyone was winning. First career win here, first win of the season there. Hell, the Daytona 500 was won by a rookie. Congratulations to Austin Cindric. However, Kevin Harvick remained oddly absent from the list of names that had gotten wins. But as the regular season started to wind down, Harvick found his chance, winning 2 consecutive races right before the regular season finale at Daytona. His season ended with 2 wins, 9 top 5s, 17 top 10s, no poles, 6 DNFs, and an average finish of 14.3. He was eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, finishing the season 15th in points, his worst since his 19th place points finish in 2009. At this point, you'd be forgiven if you expected Harvick to be done. He won 9 races in 2020 and failed to make the championship 4. He went winless in 2021 and was eliminated in the round of 16 in 2022. Anyone in that kind of slump, especially after the heartbreak that is missing the championship with a 9-win season, would at the very least consider it. And with the heartbreak followed by 2 lackluster seasons, Harvick did decide retirement was inbound. But he decided to give the fans one more show.
Jump up, kick back, whip around and spin. Jump up, kick back, whip around and spin.
Is undoubtedly one of NASCAR's biggest years. It's been 75 years since the sport was founded in 1948, and while there's a bunch of flaws in this season that make it fall short of being the grand celebration of NASCAR it was meant to be, that's not what we're talking about here. Kevin Harvick's 2021 and 2022 seasons combined their weakest attributes to give Harvick an okay final season. There's a lot of hype around him for his final season, sure, but no wins, 6 top 5s, 14 top 10s, no poles, 1 DNF, a disqualification, and an average finish of 14.1? I'm sorry, but that doesn't sound like the Kevin Harvick from the 2010s that we all know and love. How does 2022 factor into this? Well, despite locking himself into the playoffs without a win, nice job, Harvick was again eliminated in the first round. And that's not even the worst part. At the Talladega race on what happened to be my 21st birthday, Kevin Harvick fought valiantly at the end, but fell just short of winning to Ryan Blaney, only to later be disqualified outright and relegated to dead last in the field, effectively robbing him of the effort he put in. This, and another runner-up effort by Harvick's teammate Eric Almirola at Martinsville, would be the closest Stewart-Haas Racing would get to a win all year. However, 2023 wasn't without its bright spots for Kevin Harvick. At his final start in the now reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway, Harvick got to pace the field alongside Richard Childress, who was driving the 29 car that Harvick got his first win in at Atlanta. At the aforementioned Talladega race, his teammates Ryan Preece and Chase Briscoe ran the paint schemes of Ricky Bobby and Cal Naughton Jr. respectively. At the Miami race towards the end of the season, Busch Beer brought out their Budweiser branding one last time for a throwback to Harvick's 2014 championship car. That was the first time the Budweiser had been seen on the track since Harvick's attempted title defense at Miami in 2015. But nothing, and I mean nothing, that happened in 2023 holds a candle to what they chose to do for the All-Star race at the return of the beloved North Wilkesboro Speedway. From the moment Harvick's retirement became set in stone, I knew he was going to have one more drive in the 29 car. This is the single greatest going away gift for the fans that Harvick could have possibly given. And it didn't matter if the manufacturer and team were different than in years gone by. It was a white and red 29 car, with the correct font no less. The only two things that could be considered issues is that the numbers on the right side of the car were not leaning the correct way, and the sponsor is wrong. While there's frankly no excuse for the number leaning the wrong way, the sponsor makes a lot more sense to justify. Good and Reg hadn't sponsored NASCAR since 2008, so Busch Beer stepped up to the plate instead, donning logos for their sponsorship that looked like it would have been run in the late 90s and early 2000s. All in all, a near perfect throwback that felt like one last love letter to the fans, even if the car didn't run well. But let's pause for a moment. Why did Harvick specifically choose to have the car renumbered to 29 for the All-Star race? He could have just picked out the Richard Childress Racing number font for the 4. In fact, that's what he did in 2021 for that year's 2001 throwback. He could have easily done it again, and nobody would have really batted an eye. But he chose to ask Richard Childress and get his blessing to use the 29 once again. Why is that? To me, it has less to do with the number and more with what it represents. What it means to all these fans, both the older fans that had last seen it literally a decade before, and the newer fans that were seeing it live for the very first time. The number 29 means a lot more to NASCAR as a whole than I think most people realize. The number itself symbolizes change, progress, and ambition. It means that something in your life is ending, and something new is beginning. And that rang especially true for NASCAR fans in 2001, when the 3 was changed to the 29. Dale Earnhardt was gone. Surely no greater change could have come at that time than that. Kevin Harvick was asked to take his seat and guide the fans into an era that could have spelled the end of NASCAR had things gone wrong. But they didn't. After the death of Earnhardt, NASCAR and its fans began a gradual change, moving forward from a loss that no one will be able to forget. Even I understand just how much that event changed NASCAR permanently, and I was born long after the event had come to pass and didn't even get into NASCAR until over a decade after the fact. But in that time, when it would have been easier to halt everything and essentially end NASCAR as we knew it, everyone chose to keep moving forward, guided by that white number 29 car. The number of change led the people to an era they might not have known had Earnhardt lived. That is what the number 29 means to NASCAR. It is a reminder that even when all seems lost, persevering and moving forward just might be our saving grace. Kevin Harvick was our guide to a change we were not ready for. And that is why people still associate him more with the 29 than with the 4, even to this day. Perhaps he's not just the closer, but also the closure, as it was by his side that we pressed forward and saw things we wouldn't have without him. He may not be our most popular driver, may not be our winningest. He's no 7-time, and at the end of his career he was getting beaten by drivers literally half his age. But there is not a shred of doubt in my mind that Kevin Harvick is NASCAR's most important driver. When we were at our lowest point, it was Harvick we flocked to. When the 3 was no more, it was the 29 we rallied behind. Harvick is a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. And we won't forget the legacy he created as he guided NASCAR through its long and grueling change. I know that got weirdly philosophical at the end, but if we look back on Harvick's career after everything that's happened, there is no doubting that he was the key figure for NASCAR while driving the 29, especially considering the growing pains NASCAR endured without Big E's shoulder to lean on. And now that Harvick has also left, perhaps NASCAR is ready to let go of this last piece of the Earnhardt legacy. The Earnhardt era is over at long last. Josh Berry has some massive shoes to fill, as his journey has only just begun as Harvick's replacement in the 4 car. But, be it 29 or 4, Chevrolet or Ford, Goodwrench or Busch Beer, it'll be just about impossible for people to forget the closure, Kevin Harvick. Thanks for watching, and once again, thanks for subscribing. Take care, y'all. Ace Delta 12 out.